Hey Christina, it's Heather. I thought I'd take a minute to respond to your discussion board because I really enjoyed reading it. I think you're exactly right, kind of how you start out, that temptation is a part, of reality. It's a part of reality, even if you're a Christian or you're not. Because what I was talking about in my discussion board is we have this specific pull. We have this specific pull towards, someone, something, whether it's healthy or unhealthy. I always use the quote, I always kind of talk about Genesis, right? So it took 3 chapters for Adam and Eve to be tempted. So imagine living in 2022, how hard it is going to be tempted, to just stray, to sin, to, kind of in our day-to-day lives decide how we're going to be. I think you're right. Everybody goes through it. That personal relationship with God, right? That depth of knowing him and spending time with him, keeping his word in our heart. When I was doing research on verses, just how to thwart, temptation, most of them were keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, have scripture in your heart, really just meditating on his word and drawing close to him, being in the spirit with him. I think that's really important to, remain in him, especially as we go into Easter weekend, and just everything that he did for us. Right. And so, I think it's also that motivation, that drive, that helps thwart that temptation, right? So you kind of talked about, a person's faith and also prayer, that sense of purpose, that sense of motivation, right? I had a client ask me once, okay, what does a non-Christian counselor do? What do they teach as far as motivation? What do they teach as far as drive? And it kind of threw me off, but ultimately it would be to be a good person, right? But ultimately we're called to imitate Christ, to show love and show grace. But at the same time, we're tempted. Even Jesus was tempted. And that's one thing that you talk about, and so I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because even he was tempted, and so he could have, done everything that Satan was telling him to do, but he didn't. He used scripture. So I think that's a very important part of how we thwart temptation, is to just be in his word and meditate on it and know it, because the things that go into our life from television and movies and music and the influence of the world, I think that's why the Bible tells us so much to guard our heart, because everything flows from it. And so if we meditate on his word, we will be able to react to various stressors and various temptations, which is going to happen in our world today. I hope that you have a great Easter weekend. I'll see you in class. Thanks.